Hello, everyone, and welcome to Catholic Truth Family, where we talk about love, relationships, dating, engagement, marriage, children, life, and living. Pretty much everything you want to know and all your questions answered. We are talking today about engagement and wedding. Is the wedding the woman's day? I've had so many women come up to me and say, "Oh, Brian, can you tell men that they don't have a say in a wedding?" And I say, "Why?" And they say, "Well, it's the woman's day. The wedding is the woman's day." And I say, "Okay, well, what does that mean? Why is it the woman's day? Aren't two people getting married here?" "Well, yes, but women have been, thinking about this since they were like 10 years old, 14 years old. They've been dreaming about what dress they're going to wear, how many kids they're going to have, what they're going to name them. They've been thinking about this day for so long that, they need to be able to the one to enact that. They get to make all the decisions. The men, they don't really have a say because they haven't even thought about it at all. So really, the wedding is the woman's day, and they get to make all the decisions where the men don't." And I always say, I mean, people have told me this, and it's a serious thing. And I want to take the time to talk about how important, literally important, make it or break it for the rest of your life, your engagement time is. So many people spend so much time focusing on the big day that they don't spend any time focusing on the rest of their life. They focus so much time on one day, but not everything that comes after, which is why so many marriages fall apart after. They have the best weddings. They have everything they ever wanted, and it was such a romantic time. The honeymoon was perfect. It's everything they dreamed of, and then the marriage falls apart in 5 years, 3 years, or even a year. I've known people who have had this attitude, who got everything they wanted, and they didn't even last a year in marriage because they didn't know what it took to make a marriage work. They thought it was all about the day. It was a storybook, romantic ending. But no, it's all about what happens after the marriage, and what you do during your engagement will set the tone for what you do in marriage. You are literally embarking on a lifelong journey together, and the foundation, if you want it to last forever after, happily ever after, has to be solid. It has to be strong. And saying, "Oh, I get my way and he doesn't get any choices," that might have been good when we were like kids, but we're adults now, and we have to think about this rationally on a whole new level. Yeah, maybe the husband hasn't thought about it as long, but does that mean he doesn't have any opinions? Does that mean his opinions are superfluous? Does that mean that, "Oh, well, you want that, but it doesn't matter"? I mean, is selfishness a quality that we want in marriage? Is control a quality that we want in marriage? Just like my soccer coach used to say, how you practice before the game is how you will play in the game. So if you're lazy and you slack off, you're going to be lazy in the game too. But if you work hard, you're going to work hard and play hard. That's just how it is, and it's the same thing in marriage. If we practice selfishness, control, or laziness and sloth, then it's going to come out in marriage too. And I've seen this time and time again, counseling couples and people over the years. I've seen women who start to resent men in their marriage. "He won't ever do anything. He's so lazy. He comes home from work and all he does is watch TV. Honey, get me a beer." And he watches TV. "I've been working with the kids all day. I've been slaving away at home, cooking and cleaning and watching kids, and he doesn't do anything." Well, before the marriage, you didn't want him to do anything. You told him to take a back seat. And now that he's taken a back seat, you're getting upset at him. And many men are happy just to take a back seat and let the women do everything. And women many times are happy to let the men take the back seat and do everything. But then over time, they start to resent that, and they want a man to participate in the marriage. They don't want to have to bug him. They don't want to have to feel like they have a rope around his waist dragging him to participate in the marriage. It should be a reciprocal giving by both parties. And that's exactly what marriage is. It's two people giving 100%. It's not 50-50. It's giving 100% of yourself, everything you have, to the other person. And that's what love is. It's an exchange of that giving. This is why getting outside your comfort zone during your engagement and making sacrifices during your engagement, coming to compromises during your engagement is so important, because these are the lessons that you are going to be doing, practicing, and living for the rest of your life. During engagement, my wife and I fought the most. We never fought before engagement. We dated for like a year and a half and hardly ever fought, hardly had any disagreements. But during engagement, that stuff came out. And this is why I'm saying it's so important, because if you don't work out these problems during engagement beforehand, they're going to come out even bigger after the fact. We found out during engagement that we thought differently. that we acted differently, that we had things in our minds that the other person didn't have and that we didn't even like. We discovered each other's weaknesses, things that we didn't communicate. So, for example, my wife wanted to just buy all of this stuff for the wedding. She wanted to have a beautiful, grand day, which is fine, great. But I felt like she just wanted to spend us into the ground. And I told her that one day. I feel like you just want to spend us into the ground. You're just spending money. I mean, look at all this money you're spending. And what about after? Were we going to have any money for after the wedding? And she'd be like, yeah, but I don't think you want to spend money at all. You know, you're such like almost like a miser, like a Scrooge. It doesn't seems like you want to have like a cookout barbecue in the backyard. She didn't say those exact words, but that's basically what she was saying. And we both thought something different than the other. And she communicated to me that, look, I just have all these ideas. It doesn't mean that, you know, I'm going to enact them all or even that I want them all, but I'm just envisioning them all and just, you know, voicing them to you. And I'm saying, okay, so you don't want to spend this into the ground. That's good. And I replied that I'm not against spending money or having a nice wedding or any of that sort of thing. I'm just, you know, trying to be prudent and just don't want to spend too much. I want to save money for afterwards, the honeymoon and that sort of thing. We both understood where we were coming from. So we both practiced conflict resolution, understood where we were coming from, and it helped us so much. They say communication or lack of communication is one of the top 5 reasons. Sometimes it's number 1 on the many lists of why people get divorced, because we need to learn conflict resolution. We need to learn how to respect each other and how to discuss differences respectfully. We need to learn what to say and what not to say, something that like sets each other off or gets each other mad or says things in a way that they really don't like and triggers them. We want to be able to like work out those landmines beforehand. And sometimes the landmines can't be worked out beforehand and it blows up the relationship. And that's good because you want to know that if you can't make it with someone, if you can't last with someone, if they're not going to communicate, if they're not going to sacrifice, if they're not going to give to you, if they just want something but they're not willing to give anything, you want to find out all of this beforehand rather than getting into the rest of your life. Because once you get in there, it's a covenant. It's forever. You can't marry anyone else. So it's the biggest decision of your life. And you want to make the right choice. And you want to work that out and discern that beforehand. The virtues and the character and the discipline that we build before our wedding day, and that's even before we get engaged, by the way. It's long before that. We should be practicing virtue and character and discipline and self-sacrifice and giving ourselves to others. The more we do this, the more we change ourselves, the more we work on our baggage. This stuff is going to help us so much more. But then when we get into engagement and we work on these things as well, you're going to have a foundation of marriage that is so much stronger, so much happier, and it's going to breed love more, not fighting more, not anger more, not resentment and bitterness more. So marriage, it's not the woman's day. It's both of their days. They're both getting married. They both make decisions. They both have feelings. They both have things that they want and don't want. And these things need to be communicated, worked out, planned, hand in hand, together. Not one person just being selfish. I don't even know if I would marry that person who says, oh no, it's my day. You don't get to make any decisions. That would be a warning sign to me. That would be a huge red flag. It would also be a huge red flag and be like, oh, if a man says, oh, I don't want to make any decisions. You do everything, honey. I'm just going to go out with my guy friends. That's a huge red flag too. Or if I'm just going to go, do my fantasy football teams. If he doesn't even want to do anything, that's a huge flag. This is a journey together, hand in hand. And together, hand in hand, you're walking toward God. You're walking toward holiness and you're walking to heaven. You do it together. Solo, that's what you are now. But when you get married, and marriage starts before marriage, it starts when you're engaged because you've promised yourself to each other, then you walk hand in hand to happiness, holiness, and heaven. And if you want more of this sort of thing, check out our other videos on our Catholic Truth Family channel, also our Catholic Truth channel. But definitely check these resources out. Check out our other videos on here, the good of marriage, the bad of marriage, how to figure out and work through complications in marriage, how to find happily ever after. Everyone wants to be happy in marriage. So few people find that happiness. Only 7% of couples get to the exceptional marriage stage. How do we do that? That's what we talk about on this channel, and that's what we are going to be talking about in future videos. God bless you.